the thing I mentioned this earlier with the Terranation kind of approach to the Daleks is you would know that they were coming, but they would only really show up in the cliffhanger, or the Doctor would only confront. You were building towards the Doctor confronting them.
Sure,
And
sure.
going, or the Doctor finding out what. I used to love moments as a kid when the Doctor realized what he was up against, especially with Dalek stories. I actually think one of my favorites because it plays it a bit more subtle, and Tennant acts this out really well, is Daleks in Manhattan, which I don't think works. I think it's the least successful of all of these early series four-parters, but I do love this moment where Tennant's just scanning this bit of this alien, this bit of membrane that he's found, and he's going, okay, planet of origin. He kind of takes his glasses off, scrunches up his eyes, cuts the bridge of his nose, and he's working it out, and then he just stops. He looks up and just mutters, "Scaro," and then just gets up and runs.
Oh yeah, it's a great moment. It really is. In in an episode, in the 2 episodes that I've come around on a lot more, but there are. You're right. It is in terms of those early series.
That could have been. I can explain pretty well why that should have been one part, which is that part 1 does not need the Doctor. In fact, it has to keep him busy with pigmen, and it's keeping him busy because we need to get the hybrid ready. But the thing is, you don't need the hybrid for the story to work. The hybrid is actually, it's shockingly, the hybrid is actually kind of the worst thing. It's not. I actually don't have much wrong with the design. Yeah, it looks a bit suspect. Yeah. But the problem I have with it is that it doesn't feel like Sec. I think the moment I realized it, because the best scene is Dalek Sec arguing with the other Daleks right as he's about to assimilate Solomon. It's just Daleks having a debate. It's one Dalek just getting disillusioned with how they're going about things and just getting frustrated that he's not being able to try something else with the limited options he has. And that whole scene is great, and it puts the rest of the episode to shame because you didn't need the hybrid. You should have just kept Sec the way he was, and then the conflict would still play out the same. He already has a motivation for wanting to go against the rest of the Court of Skaro and go something that isn't quite Dalek pure. So why they decided to give him the same arc that the Metaltron did in Dalek, but not as good,
Yeah.
And the reason it's good, that one's good, is because it's a Dalek saying these things. It lets Nick Briggs flex as a voice actor, being able to actually, bring acting to this Dalek voice. When you hear a Dalek talk like a regular person, when you find new ways, new things for a Dalek to say and still sound like a Dalek, that's where you get the best of the stuff. But instead, we have to waste time getting this hybrid, and then when you have the hybrid, it doesn't really matter. It could have been one part. Get the Doctor to meet the Daleks a bit earlier on, and just have him work with Sec against the rest of the Cult of Skaro, but they're already uneasy. Just keep Sec as it is and as he is, and make the one-parter.
I definitely agree with that, and it's nothing on the performance. I think the performance of the actor who does the hybrid version of Sec is good. I'm just not a big fan of the New York accent and the talking like this. No, I am a Dalek. I didn't like it. I didn't like it when I was a teenager watching it. I'm not a big fan of it now either. The design is all right. It's nothing to write home about because it's never going to be. You look at a Dalek with a metal casing. That's better. It's not Sec. No, it's just not Sec.
You're comparing it to Nick Briggs.
Yeah,
he's good at this. He's great at making these Daleks actual characters. You didn't need to do this, and then the rest of it. I mean, the New York accents. I mean, that's all I don't know. That's a whole other bag. But
That's a whole other thing, yeah. I
um,
do always think about the end as well, how in the theatre and they've got all the hybrid humans there with their guns, and they're like, exterminate the Doctor, but why? And it turns into Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge all of a sudden. You know? It's like, but no, you must kill the Doctor, but why?
Ray, man, the people who I really hope the people who like took issue with Kill the Moon's science really took issue with this, because genes are not a time bomb and they're not transmitted by light. This is nonsense. This is nonsense.